The massive alien ship appeared over New York without warning. It hung in the sky like a steel mountain, blocking out the sun and casting a shadow over half the city. People stopped in their tracks, cars screeched to a halt, and millions of phones pointed upward to capture humanity's first contact with alien life. Admiral James Stone stood at the window of the United Defense Force headquarters, his weathered face reflecting in the glass as he studied the vessel above. He had trained for this moment for 30 years, but nothing could have truly prepared anyone for the reality of it. "Sir," his assistant walked in, holding a tablet. "They're broadcasting a message. Every screen on Earth is showing it." The message was simple. "We are the Galactic Empire. We rule 1,000 worlds. Your planet will join us. Resistance has never succeeded. Send your leaders to negotiate the terms of your integration." Stone smiled slightly. These aliens, for all their advanced technology, had made their first mistake. They assumed Earth would be like the other worlds they had conquered. They didn't know that humans had been preparing for this day since they first looked up at the stars. The meeting was arranged for the next morning at the United Nations. The alien ambassador, who called himself Lord Bright, arrived in what he clearly thought was an impressive display of power. His golden robes sparkled with strange gems, and his blue-skinned guards carried weapons that hummed with energy. "We bring you a great honor," Lord Bright announced to the assembled world leaders. His universal translator made his voice sound smooth and confident. "The Empire has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We bring peace, order, and advancement to all species we encounter." Admiral Stone, sitting quietly in the back of the room, noticed how Lord Bright's eyes never quite met anyone else's, a telltale sign of deception he had learned to spot over his years in military intelligence. "Your species has potential," Lord Bright continued. "We have observed your rapid technological advancement. Under our guidance, you could become a productive member of the Empire within a few generations." The world leaders looked at each other. Some seemed afraid, others angry. But they all turned to Admiral Stone when he stood up. As head of Earth's combined military forces, he had been chosen to speak for humanity. "We appreciate your offer," Stone said calmly, his voice carrying through the silent room. "But Earth is not interested in becoming part of your empire." Lord Bright laughed, a sound like tinkling glass. "You misunderstand. This is not an offer. This is a courtesy. You have 48 hours to accept our terms, or we will demonstrate why no species has ever successfully resisted the Empire." Stone walked closer to the alien ambassador. He was a tall man, and Lord Bright had to look up to meet his gaze. "No, you misunderstand," Stone replied. "We are not refusing out of pride or fear. We are refusing because humans do not submit. Ever. Every species says something similar." Lord Bright waved his hand dismissively. "Yet they all kneel in the end." "You should study Earth's history," Stone suggested. "Whenever anyone has tried to force humanity to kneel, they have learned a painful lesson. We don't negotiate our freedom." Lord Bright's smile faded slightly. For the first time, he seemed to sense something wasn't going according to plan. But his arrogance quickly returned. 48 hours, he repeated. "Choose wisely." As the aliens left the chamber, Stone pulled out his phone and sent a single message. "Protocol Omega is now active." Deep underground, in bunkers across the planet, lights began flashing. In hidden orbital stations, weapon systems powered up. And in a secret facility beneath the Antarctic ice, humanity's greatest military achievement awakened from its long slumber. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive species that would quickly submit to their power. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Intelligence Officer Tom Miller moved silently through the alien ship's ventilation system. While Lord Bright thought he was making humans wait nervously for 48 hours, Earth's best spies were already gathering information. The Empire had made another mistake. They assumed their technology was too advanced for humans to understand. They were wrong. Humans had been studying alien technology since the first UFO crashed in 1947. Now Miller's suit made him practically invisible to the Empire's sensors. He stopped above a large meeting room and activated his recording device. "These humans are just like all the others," Lord Bright was saying to his commanders. "They act brave now, but once we destroy a few of their cities, they will beg for mercy." A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing Earth's major cities. Red dots marked their targets: New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. The aliens were planning to kill millions of people to force humanity to surrender. Miller's hands tightened into fists, but he kept recording. The Empire didn't know that Earth had much better scanning technology than they showed. Every word, every plan was being transmitted directly to Admiral Stone's command center. In that command center, Stone watched the aliens' plans unfold on his screens. Next to him, General Roberts of the Space Force smiled grimly. "They still think we're defenseless," Roberts said. "Should we show them some of our real technology?" Stone shook his head. "Not yet. Let them think they have the advantage." "Miller, can you access their central database?" Through his secure channel, Miller's voice came back clear. "Already done, sir. You're not going to like what I found. The Empire doesn't just conquer planets. They strip them of resources and turn the people into slaves. They'd done this to thousands of worlds." Stone's face hardened. The Empire wasn't just trying to conquer Earth. They were planning to enslave humanity. He pressed a button on his desk, connecting him to military bases worldwide. "This is Admiral Stone. Activate all defense systems, but keep them hidden. Move all civilians to the underground shelters, and launch Operation Shadow." Across Earth, things began to move. Hidden doors in mountains slid open, revealing massive weapon systems. Underground cities, built over decades in secret, powered up their shields. And in orbit, cloaked satellites silently tracked every Empire ship. Back on the alien vessel, Lord Bright was getting frustrated. His scans showed humans moving into underground bunkers, but he couldn't detect any weapons or defenses. He had expected them to panic, to start fighting among themselves like other species usually did. Instead, humans were working together with a speed and efficiency that worried him. But his pride wouldn't let him admit his concern. "Begin the attack ahead of schedule," he ordered. "Show these primitives what happens to those who defy the Empire." Miller heard the order and quickly transmitted it to Earth. As he crawled back through the ventilation system, he smiled. The Empire thought they were about to teach humanity a lesson. Instead, they were about to learn one themselves. In his command center, Stone received the warning. He looked at the photographs on his desk, pictures of his family, of Earth's cities, of the world he had sworn to protect. The Empire thought humans were weak because they cared about each other. They were about to learn that this was actually humanity's greatest strength. "All stations, this is Admiral Stone." He spoke into his global command channel. "The enemy is about to attack. They think we're primitive and helpless. Let's show them how wrong they are." Around the world, hidden weapons powered up. Shields shimmered into existence, invisible but stronger than anything the Empire had ever encountered. And in orbit, Earth's real space fleet decloaked, surrounding the surprised alien ships. The Empire was about to learn why humans didn't negotiate. They didn't need to. Lord Bright stood on his command ship's bridge, watching as his fleet prepared to fire on Earth's major cities. His weapons officers aimed their planet killer beams, weapons that had destroyed countless civilizations before. He allowed himself a small smile. In a few minutes, the humans would learn their place. "Fire," he commanded. Massive energy beams shot down from the Empire's ships, lighting up the sky like artificial suns. Lord Bright waited for the satisfying explosions, the chaos, the panic that always followed. But something was wrong. The beams hit invisible barriers above the cities and scattered harmlessly into space. Lord Bright's jaw dropped. "Impossible," he shouted. "They have quantum shields." But we detected no energy signatures. In his command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Stone watched the Empire's failed attack on his screens. "Return fire," he ordered calmly. "Show them 30% of our real power. No more." Across Earth, hidden weapon ports opened in mountains, oceans, and deserts. The Empire's sensors suddenly came alive with thousands of warnings. Before they could react, Earth's defense systems fired. Beams of light shot up from the planet, but these weren't simple energy weapons. They were gravity beams, technology humanity had reversed engineered from crashed alien ships decades ago. The beams caught Empire ships and crushed them like paper toys. Evasive action. Lord Bright screamed, but it was too late. His mighty fleet, which had conquered 1,000 worlds, was being torn apart by weapons they couldn't even understand. Intelligence Officer Miller, now safely back on Earth, sat at his monitoring station watching the Empire's communications. "Sir," he called to Admiral Stone, "they're panicking. They've never seen anything like our gravity weapons." The battle in space looked like a light show. Empire ships exploded in silent bursts of fire, while others tried to flee, only to be caught by Earth's gravity beams. In just 6 hours, the Empire lost nearly a third of their attack fleet. Lord Bright's hands shook as he watched his ships being destroyed. "How?" he demanded. "They were supposed to be primitives. Their technology was supposed to be centuries behind ours." On his own command ship, Admiral Stone stood up. "Open a channel to the Empire flagship," he ordered. When Lord Bright's pale face appeared on the screen, Stone spoke clearly and calmly. "This is Admiral Stone of Earth. What you've seen today is only a fraction of our true power. We've been preparing for threats like you for hundreds of years. Every alien ship that crashed on Earth, every piece of technology we found. We studied them all. We learned. We improved them. And we kept them hidden, waiting for the day someone like you would come." Lord Bright's blue face had turned almost white, but our scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show. Stone finished for him. "We've had cloaking technology since before your ships arrived. The weapons you've seen today are just the beginning. Would you like to see what else we've been hiding?" As if to emphasize his point, a massive ship emerged from behind Earth's moon, bigger than anything the Empire had. Its hull was black as space itself, making it almost invisible to the naked eye. The Empire's sensors couldn't even begin to understand its power readings. "That's the EDS Humanity," Stone said proudly. "Earth Defense Ship Humanity. We built it 10 years ago, preparing for this day. It's just one of our surprises." Lord Bright stared at the massive ship in horror. Finally, he understood. The Empire hadn't found a primitive species to conquer. They had awakened a sleeping giant, one that had been quietly building its strength for centuries. "Retreat," he whispered to his remaining ships. As the Empire fleet flowed into space, Admiral Stone turned to his crew. "Send word to all Earth forces," he ordered. "Phase 1 is complete. Begin Phase 2. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was ready. The Empire's retreat gave Earth just the opening it needed. In his command center, Admiral Stone activated a screen showing the hidden facility deep under the Antarctic ice. "Release the nanoswarms," he ordered. Massive doors opened in the ice, revealing thousands of tiny black dots that rose into the sky like a cloud of metal insects. Each dot was a self-replicating nanoship, smaller than a bee but deadlier than a nuclear bomb. Earth had spent 50 years perfecting this technology. Intelligence Officer Miller watched the swarms rise on his monitors. "Sir, the nanoswarms are ready for deep space deployment. The Empire still hasn't detected them." "Launch Operation Dark Star," Stone commanded. In orbit, the EDS Humanity opened its launch bays. Dark matter bombs, weapons that could tear holes in space itself, moved into position. These weapons were humanity's greatest secret, technology that even the Empire had never managed to develop. Meanwhile, across the solar system, hidden bases on Mars, Europa, and Titan activated. From each base, A-driven battle cruisers emerged. These ships had no human crew. They were piloted by quantum computers more advanced than anything the Empire possessed. Lord Bright, retreating with his damaged fleet, suddenly stopped as his sensors detected movement throughout the solar system. His eyes widened in horror as he realized Earth's defenses weren't just around their planet. Humans had built a defense network across their entire solar system. "How long have they been preparing for this?" he whispered. The answer came from his own ship's computer. Officer Miller had planted a message deep in its systems. Since the first alien ship crashed in 1947, humanity knew we weren't alone. We knew someone would come to conquer us. So we prepared. Everything you thought you knew about Earth was wrong. Back on Earth, Stone opened a channel to all human forces. Begin Phase 2. Show them what humanity can really do. The nanoswarms reached the Empire's retreating ships first. The tiny machines ate through hull metal like it was paper, disabling ships without killing their crews. The Empire's mighty warships were turned into floating hulks in minutes. Next came the AI battle cruisers. They moved in perfect coordination, their quantum computers predicting and countering every Empire tactic before it happened. It was like watching grandmasters play against children. "Sir," Miller reported, "we're picking up transmissions from other Empire worlds. They're watching this battle. They've never seen their forces defeated like this." Stone nodded. This was exactly what they had planned for. "Launch the dark matter bombs," he ordered. The bombs flew out from the EDS Humanity, heading for empty space near the Empire fleet. When they exploded, they didn't create fire or destruction. Instead, they opened massive black holes, controlled ruptures in space that cut off the Empire's retreat paths. Lord Bright watched in growing panic as his fleet was surrounded. Earth forces had trapped them in a web of black holes, disabled their ships with invisible machines, and outmaneuvered them with ships that had no crews. "Impossible," he stuttered. "Your species, you're not supposed to have this level of technology. The Empire scientists said you were centuries away from space travel." Stone's voice came over his speakers again. "That's because we wanted you to think that. Humans learned long ago that the best advantage is the one your enemy doesn't know about. We've been building our arsenal and planning our strategy since before your Empire even knew we existed." As if to prove his point, more ships appeared from behind every moon and planet in the solar system. Earth hadn't just built defenses, they had created an army that could challenge the entire Empire. Miller's voice came over the command channel. "Sir, other species in the Empire are seeing this. They're beginning to rebel. This was exactly what we planned for." Stone smiled. The Empire thought they were starting a simple conquest. Instead, they had triggered the beginning of their own end. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Videos of Earth's victory over the Empire's fleet reached every conquered world. Species that had lived under Empire control for thousands of years watched in amazement as human technology destroyed the ships they had feared for generations. Intelligence Officer Miller sat at his station, monitoring the wave of reactions spreading through the Empire's communications network. "Sir," he called to Admiral Stone, "it's working even better than we planned. Every slave world in the Empire is talking about Earth's resistance." On his screen, Miller watched messages flood in from 100 different worlds. The reptilian warriors of the Drac system, who had fought the Empire for 300 years before being defeated, were the first to rebel. They used Earth's battle footage to rally their people. "If humans can fight back, so can we," their leader declared. In his command center, Admiral Stone received the first message from the resistance. The Drac leader's scaled face appeared on his screen. "Humans," he said, "we watched you defeat the Empire's best fleet. Will you help us break our chains?" Stone had been waiting for this moment. "Send them the shield plans," he ordered his tech team. "Show them how to build the quantum barriers that protected our cities." Across the galaxy, Earth's quantum shield technology spread like a virus through the Empire's networks. Miller had hidden the plans in such a way that the Empire's sensors couldn't stop them. World after world began building the shields that could protect them from Empire weapons. Lord Bright, watching from his crippled flagship, realized what was happening. "No," he whispered. "Stop them. They're sharing their technology with the slave worlds." But it was too late. The Empire had spent thousands of years keeping their conquered species separate, afraid that they might unite. Now, Earth was giving them the tools and the courage to fight back. The crystal beings of the Nexus cluster were next to rebel. Their cities, hidden deep in asteroid belts, activated quantum shields and declared independence. The winged people of the Star Rivers followed, then the ancient machine worlds of the Forge systems. "Sir," Miller reported, 117 worlds have declared independence in the last hour. The Empire's control systems are failing. They can't stop the rebellion from spreading. Stone nodded. This had been part of Earth's plan from the beginning. They hadn't just prepared to defend themselves. They had prepared to free the galaxy. "Send in the AIs," Stone ordered. Earth's AI battle cruisers spread out across Empire space, protecting rebel worlds with their advanced technology. The Empire's ships, already damaged and demoralized from their defeat at Earth, couldn't stand against this new threat. The former slave worlds watched in amazement as human ships arrived to help them. Stories spread about Earth, a planet that had spent centuries preparing not just for their own defense, but for the liberation of the galaxy. "Admiral," Miller called out, "the Empire's capital world is asking to open communications. They're starting to panic." On his screen, Stone saw the Empire's High Council, their faces showing fear for the first time in thousands of years. Their perfect system of control was falling apart. Worlds that had been slaves for generations were rising up, protected by human shields, inspired by Earth's example. "Send them our message," Stone ordered. Across every screen in Empire space, Earth's response appeared. "For thousands of years, you conquered and enslaved. You thought you were unbeatable. But you made one mistake. You tried to conquer humanity. We don't negotiate with tyrants. We defeat them. And now we're going to free every world you enslaved." In the darkness of space, more Earth ships appeared, moving to protect the rebel worlds. The Empire was about to learn another lesson. Humans didn't just fight for themselves. They fought for freedom itself. The war was entering its final phase, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Empire's capital world, once a symbol of unbeatable power, was now in chaos. Their mighty space fleet lay in ruins, destroyed by human technology they couldn't understand. Their slave worlds had risen in rebellion, protected by Earth's quantum shields. And now, their worst nightmare was becoming reality. Lord Bright stood before the Empire's High Council, his once proud uniform torn and dirty. "We must negotiate with the humans," he begged. "They're too powerful. They're destroying everything we built." But it was too late for negotiations. Admiral Stone had positioned Earth's fleet around the capital world, while Intelligence Officer Miller coordinated with rebel forces across the galaxy. The plan they had worked on for so long was entering its final phase. All rebel forces, Miller broadcasted on the secure channel Earth had given them. "Operation Freedom begins now. Attack as planned." Across 100 worlds, the former slaves rose up against their masters. The reptilian warriors of the Drac system led the charge, their ships now protected by human shields. The crystal beings of the Nexus cluster used their advanced mining technology to destroy Empire bases. The winged people of the Star Rivers soared through space, disrupting Empire supply lines. In his command center, Stone watched the Empire crumble. "They spent thousands of years keeping these species apart," he said to Miller. "They never imagined what would happen if someone helped them work together." The Empire's defenses, designed to control slave worlds, couldn't handle attacks from so many directions at once. Their mighty warships, already weakened by battles with Earth, fell one by one to the combined rebel fleet. Lord Bright rushed to his communication station. "Please," he called to Stone. "We'll give you anything you want. Just call off the attacks." Stone's response was cold. You had your chance for peace. You chose war instead. Remember what I told you at our first meeting. Humans don't negotiate. On the capital world, the Empire's palace shook as rebel ships entered the atmosphere. The High Council, who had ruled the galaxy through fear for 10,000 years, tried to flee. But Earth's AI ships had surrounded the planet. There was nowhere left to run. Miller's voice came over the command channel. Sir, the rebel forces have reached the palace. The Empire's leaders are surrendering. Stone nodded. Make sure they're treated fairly, he ordered. We're not like them. We don't hurt prisoners. The Empire's fall was faster than anyone expected. Without their fleet to maintain control, without fear to keep worlds in line, their power vanished like smoke in the wind. In just 3 days, 10,000 years of Empire rule ended. Lord Bright watched from his cell as rebel forces took control of the capital. He finally understood the Empire's mistake. They had thought humans were just another primitive species to conquer. Instead, they had awoken something far more dangerous, a species that had spent centuries preparing not just to defend themselves, but to change the galaxy. How? He asked Miller, who came to interrogate him. How did you plan all this? Miller smiled. We learned from Earth's history. Every empire that tried to rule through fear eventually fell. We knew someday we'd meet aliens who tried to conquer us. So we prepared. We built weapons. We made plans. And we waited. In his command center, Stone looked at the reports coming in from across the galaxy. Former slave worlds were declaring independence. The Empire's weapons were being destroyed. A new age was beginning. Send the final message, he ordered. Across every screen in the galaxy, Earth's words appeared. The Empire has fallen. All worlds are now free. And let this be a warning to anyone else who thinks of conquest. Humanity will always fight tyranny. We don't negotiate with empires. We end them. The galaxy was free, and it would never forget how humanity had made it happen. 1 month after the Empire's fall, representatives from every free world gathered on Earth. The United Nations building in New York, where Lord Bright had once threatened humanity, now hosted the first Galactic Federation meeting. Admiral Stone stood at the podium, looking at the amazing sight before him. Reptilian warriors sat next to crystal beings. Winged delegates floated above machine world representatives. Species that the Empire had kept apart for thousands of years were finally meeting as equals. The Empire ruled through fear and division. Stone began. They thought keeping species separate made them stronger. Today, we prove them wrong. Today, we show that unity is stronger than fear. Intelligence Officer Miller watched from his position near the door. His screen showed celebrations on 1,000 worlds. The former slave species were tearing down Empire statues and replacing them with symbols of freedom. The Empire asked Earth to submit. Stone continued. Instead, we showed them how to fall. But now comes the harder task, building something better. In his prison cell, Lord Bright watched the meeting on a small screen. His face showed shock as he saw his former slaves working together, creating a new government based on freedom and cooperation instead of fear and control. The new Galactic Federation's first law was simple. All species were equal. No world could rule over another. Earth shared its technology freely, helping former slave worlds rebuild and defend themselves. We propose a democratic system, Stone explained to the gathered delegates. Each world will have an equal vote. Decisions that affect the galaxy will be made together, not by force. The reptilian leader of the Drax system stood up. Humans freed us, he said. They should lead the Federation. But Stone shook his head. No. The time of empires is over. Even a well-meaning empire is still an empire. We will be equals, or we will be nothing. Miller's screens showed the news spreading across the galaxy. Former Empire citizens watched in amazement as their new government took shape. Many had never seen different species working together before. The crystal beings of the Nexus cluster offered their mining technology to help rebuild damaged worlds. The machine worlds of the forged systems shared their manufacturing capabilities. The winged people of the Star Rivers became peacekeepers, patrolling space to prevent any new empires from rising. And Earth. Earth did what humans did best. They taught others how to be free. We have a chance, Stone told the Federation Council, to build something that has never existed before. Not an empire of fear, but a federation of equals. Not subjects, but partners. In his cell, Lord Bright finally understood. We thought humans were weak because they cared about freedom, he said to Miller during an interview. We were wrong. They were stronger than us because they cared about freedom. The Federation grew stronger each day. Former Empire technologies were studied and shared. Earth's quantum shields protected every free world. The AI battlecruisers became a peacekeeping force, ensuring no species could ever enslave another again. 1 year after the Empire's fall, the Federation held its first free election. Representatives from every world gathered to vote. The Empire's palace, once a symbol of oppression, became the Federation's Senate House. Stone watched the voting from Earth. He had refused nomination for Federation leadership, choosing instead to return home. Humans don't need to rule, he told Miller. We just need to make sure everyone stays free. The galaxy was entering a new age. The Empire was gone, and in its place stood something new. A union of free worlds, working together, growing together. And if anyone ever tried to build another empire, they would face not just humanity, but a galaxy united in freedom. The Empire had learned its lesson. Humans don't negotiate with tyrants. They end tyranny and build something better in its place.